So some of you have native doctors as pastors and you call them papa, prophets, whatever name you call them. Whereas these are not genuine men of God. These are native doctors, the sons of the devil, parading themselves as the sons of God. Now there's this guy, his name is Denison. He is the first son of a native doctor. In fact, when he was given birth to, he was dedicated as little as 3 months old to the deity his father serves, that he will take over his father's practice when his father leaves this earth. Now, this guy, even as little as 8 years old, he had powers. He knew how to call on deities, call on spirits. He could see things that normal people couldn't see. So this guy was little, but he was powerful. So as time went on, his father left the earth, and then he took over the practice of his father. Now this guy, being a young guy around his early 20s, he had this lust for power, and he had that power, but he was looking at a different dimension. This guy was so powerful, he could call on spirits, he could call on dead people, and they will come, and then he will get information from them. He was that powerful. People came from different walks of life, people came from different parts of the country, even outside the country, to consult him. Now this guy has been so powerful. Some of the things that he does is like sometimes he goes to the market square at night around 2 a.m, when he needs money, and he will just go and get the footprints of people and then make some incantations. And if you are not spiritually strong, he will make you fall sick to the extent where you have to come to him. As long as you are in that village or you came to that market, you have to come to him for the cure. And imagine collecting 50k from 100 people or 500 people or 1000 people. It was one of his gimmicks. He had so many gimmicks. He was lost for power, he had lust for money, he had lust for women. Now this guy, he sees a lot of young guys come from different places looking real good, whereas he is in the forest, he's in the thick forest attending to them, and he didn't like that forest. He wanted to have a taste of the good life. He wanted to, see how the city was. He usually goes there, but he wants to stay there. He didn't want to stay in the bush anymore. So he began to think of what does he need to do to leave this place. And he knows if he goes to the city, that he's the deity that he serves. If you want to serve him in truth and in spirit, he has to be in the bush. Or even if he comes out from the bush, it won't be as much as he wants. So he needed a camouflage, something that will make him appear, in a very light manner. So he began to watch videos, and he saw, okay, he's going to call himself as a prophet. So that was how this guy left his village, left the forest, and he went to the city. And he called himself as a prophet, a man of God, unquote. And then he rented a place, because of course he had money. He rented a place, and then first of all he went to the market square. I started performing all kind of signs and wonders. These were magic, but not miracles. And he healed the sick, the cripple could walk. And there was this particular guy that was mad for over 10 years. He was very popular in the market. And this guy, he saw that the spirit that made this guy mad was a lower demon. So he commanded the demon out of that madman and sent it to another person. And everyone was like, wow, this man is a genuine man of God. And that was how he was able to win everybody over. And his church went from 0 to over 1,000 in one day. All the women in the market started coming to his church. They started calling him prophet, man of God, and that was how he was able to start building his church. This guy built his church, infiltrated the community, and started doing signs and wonders. So this guy continued, his church grew, people will come from different places. He will see into the future. If he sees that you have money coming your way, what he does is he tells you, I can make money come to you. And then he will tell you, but you're going to give me 60% of the money. And this is what he continued to do. If he sees that you have a bright future, he sees into your future and then tells you things that will happen, and then makes money from it. And this guy also had fraudulent boys called Yahoo boys come to his church, and he sees money coming to them, and he makes them get the money, gives them charms to get money, and they give him cut. So he began to have what you call a HQ, headquarter, where he puts boys and then gives them charms. If he sees that you have a bright future and you don't have anything doing, he will just introduce you to one of the boys, and from there they will start teaching you how to do these fraudulent activities, and then he gives them charms, and then to make them make money and collect mega cuts from this. And he also had a branch called the caregivers. These are women that service him, women that like worship him. He had slept with almost half of the women in his church. So he had a particular department in the church that was the caregivers that took care of the pastor, take care of him. He wasn't married, so they were bathing him, they were washing his clothes, and then when he needed, he would sleep with some of them. But it happened to be this particular girl. She was innocent and naive, and she came to the church with the intent of serving God. She was in the choir, and the Pastor Dennison, promoted her to the caregivers. And one day he asked her to come and take care of him. And when he started touching her, she resisted, and then he forced his way on her and then raped her. So after that, she left there and she was devastated. She went home and she was crying, and her elder sister noticed and was asking her what happened. What happened? She refused to tell. But eventually she broke and she told the sister, okay, see, this is what happened. I was raped by this so-called pastor. And the sister was enraged, like very, very angry. And then she was a reporter. She wanted to report the issue into her a news station, but she decided to go to the police station and report first. So after reporting, luckily there was an inspector there who was wise enough to say, if you attack, go and arrest this man and he may go scot-free. You need to dig deeper into this investigation and get evidence, hard evidence to use against him. So they formed a team. This team was involved men and women. Some infiltrated the fraud group. They had a young guy come in claiming that he wanted wealth, and the pastor introduced him to the boys gang where they do fraud. And then he had the woman come in and was introduced to the caregivers. They had other different fraudulent illegal departments in the church, and this was how they infiltrated every department in the church and were able to get information, able to get videos. They had spy cameras, they had eyeglasses that could record. So they recorded a lot of evidence, and they had concrete proof to arrest this pastor. Now on the D-Day, the reporter lady got her news crew to come and capture the moment. They wanted to capture him on camera on a Sunday morning where he will be preaching on pulpit. So they came to the church, stormed the church, everybody hands up, and they started arresting people, but they couldn't find this Pastor Danielson. He was nowhere to be found. They searched for him in his house, searched for him in the church. He was nowhere to be found. But they arrested some members of the church and of the gang, and took them to the station. And they questioned them for weeks long to get information about this Pastor Danielson, but they were not able to get the information. So these guys searched and searched for weeks upon weeks without getting any lead, without getting any information. So they had to prosecute these other guys without Pastor Dennison. Pastor Dennison beforehand already got information that these guys were going to infiltrate his church. So the spirit that ministered to him told him to go through the back door. He went through the back door, and that was how he was able to escape and run away. He ran away to a far end of the country where no one was able to recognize him or know him. Even though the police set a bounty, on his head, no one knew where he went to. He changed his looks, disguised himself into someone else, and that was how he was able to. In fact, he now infiltrated a bigger church and claimed that he was a pastor. Infiltrated a bigger church, and that was how he was able to infiltrate the church, bringing his own negative vibes, negative ministry, so to say, into this real church. And this was how he was able to penetrate the church and still cause several mayhem there. Now there are several Pastor Dennisons in the real world now that are not pastors. These are sons of the devil that pose themselves as sons of God. These are native doctors. These are magicians. These are false prophets that have arisen to afflict the body of Christ and look as if they are true sons of God, whereas their mission is to steal, kill, and destroy. If you are watching this, be careful of Pastor Dennison in any form that he appears in. Not all that glitter is gold. Make sure you serve God in truth and in spirit, and the Spirit will be able to tell you if this is a real church, a real man of God. Don't depend on men of God, so to say, for whatever that you need to do. It is good to get mentorship. It's good to rely to have a man of God speak over your life, but make sure that your spirit is speaking to you. You are a prophet on your own, and you need to know these things on your own. So therefore, watch out and pray.